Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.
Solidarity, solidarity forever. Come and say solidarity forever. Sing it. Solidarity forever. For the union makes us strong. There is victory for us. There is victory for us. In the struggle for hallelujah. There is
PowerPoint presentations, and they were all tailored towards making sure our investment was safe within the Chevron in-house pension system. It was known as Chevron Nigeria Closed Pension Fund Administration. So after the presentation, we saw reason with them. They gave us a lot of doubt on the third party outside, that our money could go down the drain. Their historical track record is not known to them, and therefore we should put our money in the in-house pension fund, which we gladly did. That was 2007. 17 years later, 17 years later, last year, 2023, they moved that same fund to a third party. The third party they declared were unsafe, were risky to our fund. They moved the fund to third parties. The third part of that, we were never engaged. The owner of the fund were never engaged in that discussion. But remember, 2007, we were engaged. We were called in and we were engaged. So if they have a very clear agenda for the retirees, they would have also called us to have another engagement and tell us why they are moving our fund to a third party. Now, the third party you said was risky. What has made it now very safe? You needed to tell us all of that. On top of that, they have signed an agreement on our behalf. We don't know the content of that agreement. We don't know the terms and conditions of that agreement at all. So how can you sign an agreement of my life savings, my fund, life savings I have worked for 30 years? You are moving that fund to a third party, and you don't think it's necessary to involve me. They have therefore breached their own tenet number 10, which says that Chevron will always involve the right people in decisions that affect procedures and persons and their assets. They have breached their own tenet. Tenet number 10 is broken. Tenet number 10 is no longer valid. So in their own, they have broken their own tenets. Now, it doesn't end there. They are divesting as we speak. As we speak, Robokiri is gone. Idama is gone. Inda is gone. Funiwa is gone. Penitin is gone. We don't know where we go next. Not is gone. Now, that shows you that divesting. And they are preparing to do what? Jagba.
to run away.
Once they fully divest, they will run away. And now, what will be our fate? What will be our fate? We don't have any incline to what the content of that agreement is. Now, as of today, our sponsor is the Chevron MD. Now, if he goes away, who becomes our sponsor? Do you know?
No.
Do you know?
No.
So we're in the dark. We're in the dark. And that's why I was saying the MD must come and address us today. The MD must come and do what? Address us today. They have a very ugly history. In 2004, they did a merger with Texaco. In that merger, the downstream sector they were handed over to MROS to take care of. Not quite 6 months, just 6 months' time, MROS told the workers that were handed over to them that the money that was handed over to them by Chevron is spent, has been spent, and therefore they can't pay them any longer. So those staff, they now took Chevron to court. Chevron had to settle out of court by paying them total severance package. So that was how that story was told. Allegedly so.
The truth of the matter is that we have been on this particular matter for a very long time. And it is important that we stress that this is not a vindictive outing. It is an outing that is targeted at, enforcing the rights of Nigerian citizens. Chevron is an American company. In the state, the country where they came from, there's law and order. The Constitution of the United States of America is highly respected. We have a constitution in this country which in chapter 40, has given these people the right of assemblage and the right to belong to any association of their choice. But Chevron has refused to recognize them. And we find that very repulsive. And the issue of their pension and the custodian and the administrator, under the Nigerian law, it is the right of the pensioners to decide who becomes their pension administrator. You do not force anyone to comply or bend anyone forcefully to sign up to an administrator. That is why you have different pension administrators in this country. If you look at the Pension Reform Act, the main objective there is to place that voluntary, the willingness for the pensioner to decide. Now, several decisions have been taken on their behalf without their consent. And this is wrong and is contrary to the laws of this country. And this must be, challenged and enforced. So that is why they are here. Now, when it comes to issue of discrimination, the way they treat pensioners, in other places, in their country and others, is not the same way they treat them here. So here we are seeing the degrading effect of that in the lives of those who have committed their lives to the country. Even in Nigeria, those who serve this country meritoriously are placed under life pension and they are given some level of comfort. But this is not the case. Now, Chevron as a multinational, one would have expected that their own rules and regulations, at least they should be able to, if they want to contravene the laws of Nigeria and the laws of this country, we could say we look at that from afar and say, okay, but that they have their own regulation which they violate themselves cannot go unaddressed. And that is why this protest is important, is imperative. It's nationwide. As I talk to you now, people are protesting in other states of this federation. Okay? So my advice on this is that right now they are waiting for the management to come and receive their demand letter. And we've been here for the past 2 hours. Nobody, okay, as you can see, the gate is locked. Nobody has come out from this place to address this crowd. The MD is there, the assistant is there, the workers are there, those who are supposed to speak to the public are in there, but they have refused to come. Now, this communicates to you what? It communicates to you neglect, okay? Arrogance, impunity, and the rest of that, because they feel that they can get away with it. But we are saying that because Nigeria is a law-abiding country and because law exists in this country, they shall not get away with this. And so we make that demand here and right now, that they must come out and address, our people and, give them that which belongs to them by law and by right. Thank you and God bless you.
In America and world over, nobody goes to those countries and break their laws. Sometime 2008, we had an MD that came here and said the president is sleeping, National Assembly is sleeping. We took umbrage. They revised that statement and apologized. We are back there again. Chevron cannot be here and be disobeying Nigerian law. The law says we are registered. Once you are registered, you are recognized. Chevron had the temerity and the effrontery to write us to say even though they know the law, they don't recognize any retiree association in Chevron. And we say no to that. If you don't like us, then carry your business elsewhere. Please, but that's part of why we are angry. You must conform with Nigerian laws. That is our major umbrage. If you comply with the law, The Nigerian laws are enough to take care of retirees. If they stick to the law, we are okay. Chevron must discuss with us. Chevron must negotiate with us because we are a registered body known by law. Thank you.
All right. We went to the National Pension Commission to complain on the problems we're having with Chevron. The National Pension Commission had 3 meetings with Chevron in Abuja. What we were expecting was that they were going to call the 2 parties together and do mediation. But what they did was to engage only one party. That party now, National Pension Commission, now wrote to us after 1 month saying that Chevron has the right to dissolve the company that was managing our funds and also have the right to move it to a 3rd party. So they asked us to go to court. That's what they did. They asked us to go to court. You know, in Nigeria, it's the only place where the person who is offending you, the person who is trampling upon your rights, will be the one to first ask you to go to court because they have the influence and the reach. They have the power. Chevron is an IOC company. We cannot match them dollar for dollar. We cannot match them influence for influence. So what we are planning to do, in fact, we have a competition with Brekete. We show Brekete, we call them to attention. We are going to take them to the public court. The public court, where you can be sentenced by the public in their heart, and nobody is going to set you free. So that's where we are going. We don't know the exact date Brekete will call us because that is one place you can be sure justice will be delivered. Your right will be protected. So, and it's a place you cannot enforce, you cannot force yourself and jump the queue. So we are waiting between now and the end of the year. They will call us. We will tell our story there again. So that is our next move. If Chevron does not listen to us now, between now and the next 1 week, we shall go to Brekete. That is our next line of action. It's a human rights television and radio station in Abuja. Brekete family, I'm sure.
Have you people approached the Senate, the National Assembly? Have you written to the National Assembly? What is their take on this?
I'm surprised they're talking about National Assembly because that is where they will beat us thoroughly. All they need is to promise them job, is to promise them giving their children job, promise them Ghana must go, promise them holidays in Paris, promise them holidays in Washington, and then your case is trashed to the gutter. So we are not going to go to this National Assembly. We shall not go there. We will not go to the National Court as well. To the court, we know that Chevron has the influence, they have the power, they have the money. Let me tell you something about Chevron. They have an office that is dedicated to lobby the National Assembly alone. That office is dedicated to lobbying. It's a full section just to lobby the National Assembly. And you're asking me to go to the National Assembly. To do what? To be beaten there? I'm not going to go there. We're not going there.
So what about taking your case to the International Court, even in the U.S., which is their headquarters? Have you attempted that?
Okay, that is a valid question. You know, these things we move them step by step. That action is in our bucket of actions. So we are moving them, one step after the other. So we are not going to give up until we are answered, until our issues are resolved, until we are engaged, until PENCON is fully recognized. PENCON is a legal entity recognized by law. So there's nobody who has the right to disregard PENCON. Legally, that is wrong. Thank you very much.
Your name once again, sir.
My name is Comrade Omar Jonathan, the president of the pensioners of Chevron of Nigeria.